And it's time to go in depth on Trump, the Russian investigation, and the FBI. And who better to do this with than legendary law professor and Newsmax contributor Alan Dershowitz. His Trump is titled Trumped Up. And Alan, thanks so much for being here. I look forward to every conversation we have, and certainly, you know, this one should be very, very interesting. Let's start with the idea that McCabe was removed. The White House has flat out denied they had anything to do with it. They weren't involved in it. If they were, what would this mean for the president?
Well, I don't think they were involved in it because we had heard that McCabe was going to be leaving weeks ago. Probably the reason is because the director of the FBI pressured him to leave. Look, we have to resolve the issue of nonpartisan investigations. There's a broader issue here. Are we allowed to ask people what their political affiliation is or not? And the rule has to apply on both sides of the aisle. McCabe's wife was an active Democrat who received funding from Clinton-related sources. Should that be a disqualification? If so, it should be a disqualification on the other side of the aisle as well. We need objective rules that apply equally to both sides. On the matter of, for example, the Strzok thing, of course Strzok should have recused himself by writing memos like that. But what is the rule? Should you be allowed to ask people who are investigating a case who they voted for? Those are very, very hard questions, and we have to resolve them in an objective, neutral, and nonpartisan way.
Do you think that McCabe should have recused himself also from overseeing the investigation of the Hillary Clinton misuse of private server, et cetera? I mean, that I think is kind of the origin of his problems, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that a person whose wife is running for office can still be an objective FBI agent. We don't know anything personal about McCabe's biases, either against Trump or for Clinton. We do know about Strzok's biases. Yeah. The guy who should recuse himself is Roz Rosenstein, because he's a witness. He is a major witness. If any lawyer for Donald Trump, if there were to be any kind of an investigation or court proceeding, the first person you would call as a witness would be Rosenstein and say, hey, you wrote the memo. When you wrote the memo, were you telling the truth? Did anybody tell you what to put in the memo? Or was it your own words that you put in the memo? He's such a crucial witness. I don't understand how he remains on the investigation.
Good question.
No, it really is. Let's talk about something that Liz and I are very intrigued with, as a lot of other people, and it's that 4-page memo written by Devin Nunes over in the House Intel Committee. It is either really damning, Alan, or it is nothing to see here. And of course, it depends on your political perspective on which one of these it is. It is a classified memo. There was supposed to be a vote today. Well, I've gotten no word on whether the vote has even taken place or not. But this memo seems to represent a kind of conundrum, Alan, and I'm wondering how you would look at this memo based on all of your legal expertise and experience.
Well, the first thing I'd want to do is look at the memo. The first thing I'd want to do,
which the Democrats have not done, I gather. Not one of them.
Right. The American public has the right to see it, has the right to know why it's classified, has the right to know whether it could be presented to the public redacted with just whatever is absolutely essential to national security perhaps being redacted. The most important first step is to make it available so we see what's in it. We see whether or not there were justifications if it was used, if material was used improperly to obtain a FISA warrant. The American public is entitled to see all of that. Transparency is the essence of democracy. It was Louis Brandeis who said sunlight is the best disinfectant, and we have to be following that path. Let's see it. Then we can have a reasonable discussion of what it really means.